Hey, what's up, family? I'm Joe, and I'm one half of Two Crazy Ketos, and I have the pleasure to be here with Joe Finnegan from Certified Piedmontese. And we actually, we here a couple last year. You guys were here, right? Where you were in the back corner, and then we got to eat some of the delicious beef at KetoCon. And last night, you guys were part of the VIP dinner with some delicious meat, some steak and some sausage. And we wanted to talk to him a little bit about what is Certified Piedmontese and what are some of the different things that you get from your meat, what your company is all about, and also the quality of the meat that you get through you.
Sure, yeah. I mean, from a 30,000 foot overview, Certified Piedmontese beef is a Italian heritage breed of cattle that originated from the Piedmont region of Italy. So it's actually the Piedmontese breed of cattle, similar to like you've heard of Wagyu or Angus beef. It's actually its own breed of cattle.
Okay.
It's really actually a specialized breed of cattle because it's got what I like to think of as superior genetics. It has an inactive myostatin gene that converts all of its food energy into muscle rather than fat. So what you're left with from a finished beef perspective is an incredibly lean piece of meat. Nutritionally, macronutrient profile-wise, we're looking like Atlantic salmon or chicken breast.
Okay.
But we're going to eat and perform like a prime grade steak on the plate, and that's due to, again, the genetics of this breed of cattle. They have very dense, close together muscle fibers, but then they also produce little to no connective tissue. So that's where you're getting virtually no resistance when you're cutting through a piece of meat, making it just as tender and actually, if not more tender than prime grade beef in tenderness.
Okay. So you're kind of losing me at no fat, because fat is flavor.
Or so you've always been told.
Right.
And as you know from KetoCon, as well as the VIP reception last night, our beef has tons of great natural beef flavor. And also for the keto community, we kind of position ourselves very uniquely because if you go to the grocery store, you're going to go look at the meat case, you'll see two ribeyes. Those two ribeyes could eat, perform, and have vastly different macro profiles because who knows where they're coming from.
Right.
But here you're getting what's essentially farm to fork, ranch direct beef directly from our ranches here in Nebraska all across the country. But you're getting consistency. So with that, you can have that same ribeye 47 different ways because, we put nutritional panels on all of our steaks and what's listed is what it is. So with that, you can have variability by introducing other fats into your meal. So it's not just the ribeye and, that's it. It's a ribeye with a compound butter with this flavor one day, a different compound butter the next day. So you're still getting your fats in, but you're having a different eating experience every single time.
Well, I can tell you, like, the meat that you had last night, if you would have told me that there was, like, virtually no fat in that, like, it was delicious. And then you did have some different finishing sauces off to the side that just really, went with that meat perfectly. Right. I mean, from the horseradish sauce to there was some kind of like a hot pepper one. I mean, like a lot of different flavors coming in. But the meat was like super tender. Like you could literally cut it with a fork, which I've never seen before in beef.
Right, yeah, and we've actually run independent lab studies at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. And they use the shear force test method, which measures the amount of force required to cut through a piece of meat. So the less the number, the more tender it is. And we've actually compared ourselves side by side, and that's where I mentioned earlier that comparison with prime grade beef and tenderness. That's actually lab derived. So we've actually outperformed prime grade beef and tenderness once you get into the secondary cuts. So like the sirloin, for instance, very economical, everyday, daily driver cut. You can cut that with a fork, or you can cut it, slice it pretty thin, and you can literally pull it apart with your fingers.
Wow. I was actually talking to him earlier about the fact that we just recently discovered the top sirloin. Because, you hear a lot of people talk about, like, the ribeye is the best part of the cow. I am not a ribeye guy. Like, I like prime rib, same cut of meat, but the way it's cooked, like that fat becomes like candy when you slow roast it. But like, for example, our son Caleb, he does not like fat on his meat. Like we went to a restaurant once and he was like, I want a ribeye. And I'm like, no, you don't, because I'm not going to spend $25 and you're going to throw all the fat out. Right. Like, so get like a sirloin or something like that. But that top sirloin, where you got the fat cap on the top, but it's an inexpensive piece of meat when you compare it to like a filet mignon or something like that.
Yeah, so we do a grass-fed, grass-finished sirloin, and it's a baseball cut, so it looks a lot like a filet mignon. It's 8 ounces, and for that 8-ounce steak, it's 240 calories, 52 grams of protein,
Wow.
and 0.8 grams of fat.
Wow.
Per 8-ounce serving. So on the label, we're actually, because per serving it's less than 0.4 ounces.
Right.
So we can list it on the label as 0 grams of fat.
Wow.
So we have people out there that call that the fat-free steak, which find me one of those and I'll be impressed.
And then we can get the fat into our diet because we're all about it. Like I believe in eating more of a 1-to-1, 1 gram of fat to 1 gram of protein by finding maybe some healthy tallow or some butter or ghee or something like that and adding that flavor back in. Because that's one of the things a lot of people say, like, okay, I can't figure out how to get the protein without overdoing fat. Well, here you can have a leaner cut of beef and then add in that cooking fat for flavor and maybe finishing it off on top.
Or who doesn't like bacon wrapped steak?
Oh, yeah, that's my kind of thing. So you also had a sausage last night. Is that something that's available from you guys, or was that a special thing for last night's event?
So that's a bit of a teaser.
It's a teaser.
It's a teaser.
It was a good teaser.
We are in the finishing stages of completing a smokehouse project where we will also have a new line of fully cooked sausages like you had last night.
Right.
Cured meats as well as more like charcuterie style cured meats for nationwide distribution. So those will be landing on our website at cpbeef.com hopefully within the next 6 to 8 weeks.
So let's talk about nationwide because, again, we live in Florida. And, we have a lot of cattle that are raised in Florida. A lot of that cattle gets shipped out to feedlots and stuff like that for the final sale. And Rachel and I are believers in supporting the local rancher. And it's one of the reasons that we don't necessarily support things like ButcherBox and stuff, because a lot of that meat comes from other countries. And we really believe in supporting the local rancher. So where is all of your beef coming from? Yeah,
so that's the really, really cool thing about certified Piedmontese beef, especially in the last 2 years with the pandemic and everything. Our supply chain is completely closed. So we have these animals from birth to harvest, so they're completely farm to fork traceable all the way back to the day that they hit the ground as a newborn calf. So we raise them, we feed them, we harvest them, and then we distribute them. We cut them into steaks, we do the whole 9 yards. And everything that we do from a live side of the business, meaning cattle on the ground, is with animal welfare and then environmental sustainability in mind. So much so that even our corporate office is a LEED certified gold building, which again is a testament to us as a company, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk.
Okay, I heard something about your packaging yesterday, for your shipping packaging. Can we talk about that?
Absolutely, yeah. So we utilize, again, because of how vilified the animal agriculture industry has become, especially with emissions and its carbon footprint, we ship everything in biodegradable and recyclable packaging. So you can either light it on fire or you can put it in your sink and it disintegrates. It's completely harmless to your sink.
What are we making out of? We could put it in our sink and it just goes away.
Yep, it's called green cell foam.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can recycle it as well. It's a completely recyclable material.
Wow. And that's so if we order beef, that's how it's going to get shipped to our house. That kind of packaging.
Yep, we ship
so
it
no
out of
styrofoam, all that kind of stuff.
Nope. We ship it from Lincoln, Nebraska, and we use UPS second day air, so we go coast to coast, Alaska and Hawaii as well. And we hit everything within a 2-day window, frozen with dry ice.
So is all of your beef grass-fed, grass-finished? Do you, like me personally, I like grass-fed, grass-finished, but I'm sorry, but sometimes that grain finish does bring a nice flavor.
Sure.
So do you offer both or do you offer only one?
So we started as a grass-fed grain finish program because here in Nebraska, we have some white fluffy stuff, for 6 months out of the year. So grass isn't always readily available. But a true testament to this breed of cattle, and again, because of how lean they are, they don't deposit lots of fat regardless. Mm-hmm. And so we've kind of tested the waters with the grass-fed, grass-finished line as well. And the way that they respond and react to that grass finishing, you virtually cannot taste the difference between the grain finished and the grass finished. They are identical in taste and performance. So we're actually pivoting to doing all of our operation as grass-fed, grass-finished.
Wow.
For nationwide distribution. But with that, it takes some time. So we actually are about 95% self-sustained as well with all of our animal feed. So we're currently converting a lot of our cropland into grasses and foliages for hay and other feed for our animals. But we are in the process, and we should be converted within the next probably 18 to 24 months to being completely grass-fed, grass-finished.
So you talked about animal welfare. Like Rachel and I are a firm believer on that the cattle should have one bad day.
They do. Ours have one bad day, and lucky for them, they don't know when it's coming.
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm excited about that. So if people can order beef online from you, what kind can they pick the cuts? Is it a box? Can they get a whole cow, a half a cow?
Yeah, absolutely. We've made it really easy because we do everything you just mentioned. We have
Wow.
a la carte items. So if you just want your ribeye or you just want your sirloins, you can absolutely do that. And we still do have grass-fed grain finished as well as the grass-fed grass finished. We also do a beef club where you don't get to decide what you get. You let me decide what we send you. But at the same time, it's about $150 worth of beef, and to you, it's $100.
Okay.
So you get tremendous value with that, and it changes every month, so you're not in that same rut of...
So it's kind of like a surprise box. Like,
Exactly.
here, you're going to get some beef, but I'm going to surprise you with what cuts, which is good because sometimes, you know, we experience a cut that we've never had before. Like I said, Rachel and I really recently discovered the top sirloin, and even last year we discovered a chuck roast, which we'd never had, you know? And it's like, it's basically a poor man's, you know, like brisket.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can smoke it like a brisket. It's got all of that that fat in there. And the flavor when you slow roast it or slow, you know, smoke it, everything breaks down. And, you know, so, but sometimes we don't know about them. So I like the fact that you may get a surprise and learn something new with it.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it gets you out of your comfort zone, but it's in your freezer, so you're going to eat it anyway.
Yeah.
But then we also have a series and assortments of curated gift boxes that we've done, as well as what we call our version of the side of beef, which is our freezer filler. So you get about 115 pounds worth of beef, but with our products, you know, when you get a side of beef, it's coming from a locker more times than not, and they're using butcher paper over wrap. So unless you eat that within 6 months or so, you're going to be eating some frostbit or freezer burned meat. With us, we're vacuum sealing everything, so it's airtight. And with that, you're actually going to get anywhere from 60 to 70 steaks, which would be about double what you would get from buying a side of beef, because with that, when you're buying whole animals, you know, they really drown you with ground beef. So hope you like hamburgers and tacos, right?
Yeah, well, I know that when Rachel and I bought our cow last year, we purchased a whole share because we wanted the ability to choose what we were getting. They said if you choose a half a share, then it's kind of like a co-op thing, and so they decided. So we said, well, if we buy the whole share, can we decide? And we were able to have a communication with a butcher, which I found out is a lost art. A lot of people aren't becoming butchers and processors anymore. And so I was like, I want as many steaks as possible. So out of an entire side of beef, I think we ended up with only 162 pounds of ground beef for a 600-pound hanging weight cow.
Good.
But, you know, we got a lot of steaks and roasts and things like that, which is more of what I want. I love my ground beef, don't get me wrong, but I want to experiment with different things. So I like the fact that you guys offer that. What about, do you offer any kind of organ meat or anything?
So we do have grass-fed livers currently available.
Awesome.
But that's really the only offal that we're offering at this time. Again, a little teaser, we might have something in the works for down the road in terms of other offals like that or organ meats.
Right.
But I can't.
But you do offer
yet.
the liver. And I think that's the thing
now,
that people are really looking for is that liver. Can we just finish up with some of these other products that you have here?
Yeah, so we have,
some...
obviously we're raising these animals, so we want to utilize as much of the animal as possible because it's, you know, an ode and a testament to their lives that they lived, because without these beautiful Piedmontese cattle, we're nothing. So how can we merchandise literally the whole carcass? So with that, we have snack items that are shelf stable. They have year shelf lives on them. We have snack sticks for on-the-go protein snacking, as well as the new one that I'm really excited about is our biltong. So it's like a South African style beef jerky that's salt cured rather than dehydrated like traditional jerky. But the cool thing is it has 0 sugar.
Right.
Being that it's a very, very lean beef like this, garlic and herb, this is a 2-ounce single-serve bag, and it has, I believe, 140 calories, 2 grams of fat, and then it's 30 grams of protein.
Yeah.
So for a airport snack or a car snack, with these macros and real food, real bioavailability.
And I really like you said, like you're not adding a whole bunch of sugar, because it really frustrates me when I see beef jerkies and meat sticks and they're loading them up with sugar, and I'm like, this can be done without sugar.
Right.
It can be done. I mean, even like we talk about barbecue seasonings and stuff, and Redmond Real Salt just kind of previewed with us. They're coming out with a barbecue spice that's using allulose. Like, it can be done. We just have to have the companies like you guys that are willing to take that effort to give us products like this without sugar. So we appreciate that. So they can go to your website if people want to order beef.
Yep. So our website's www.cpbeef.com. We have free 2-day shipping on all orders over $150.
Do you ship nationwide?
Nationwide, yep.
So even to Florida?
Even to Florida. Even to the Keys. We had our head, our chef and general manager at our restaurant in Lincoln, Nebraska, actually just went lobster hunting down in the Keys last week.
Yeah, it was lobster season.
Before they left, they shipped a box down of Piedmontese beef, and when they got to their Airbnb, lo and behold, there it was.
Wow, that's great. I'm so excited about that. I can tell you that I've had their beef both here and at KetoCon. It is delicious. I mean, and I'm super excited, especially now that we get to support local ranchers, grown here in the United States, beef that's here. It's not coming from other countries. We don't need to support meat from other countries. Obviously, get what you can afford, but this is at an affordable price. And again, supporting our local rancher, and that's really, really important to us. So if you like seeing videos like this, please take a look at some of the videos that we have linked right over there. Also, make sure you take a look at our most recent video that I'm gonna put right over here. But whether you head that way or you head this way, make sure you head this way, subscribe to our channel, hit that little bell button. This way, every time we discover some more beef, we'll let you know.